and stuff you don't. It's the Ben and Brand Show.
Welcome to a very special edition of the Ben and Brand Show, where we are featuring the composers of Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model, now streaming on Netflix.
Woo!
Benny, why don't you introduce your team to us today?
So we have our fearless leader, Jasha Klebe.
Hi, guys.
The one and only, hailing from Northern California, now Southern Californian,
And
maybe
About to
switching
move
it up.
east.
now about to be an East Coast
Oh my
person. I don't know what that means.
Ooh, the Big Apple.
Blizzards.
And going even further east, we have Empara Mi, the one and only incredible vocalist, artist, songwriter, everything. And I am the jester of the group. Jupiter, go away. And together we created the score for Netflix's hit Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model. And we're loving the reception.
Yeah, what would you say was the most fun track that you guys worked on for this? Because there's
That's
a lot of little
good
bops
first
on there.
question.
The title track. I
Yeah.
think. It's,
Yeah.
Which is called On Top.
Yeah.
And it is just loud and chaotic and
We'll get you
pretty
going.
over the top, just like the show was, which was the intent behind it.
And Empara, were you here in person for all of the recordings? I think you had visited
Not all
here,
of the
right?
recordings.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I was only, in the studio that you're sitting in right now for
Yes.
1 day or 2 days.
Okay.
I can't even remember. Was it 1 day?
1 day.
I think it was just one day.
One
Only
very
day,
busy
yeah.
day.
So everything obviously was remote. Apart from that 1 day, I came in to, I think, did we record both Mother and On Top on the same day?
We did, yes. The two
Yes.
title tracks, On Top and Mother.
Yeah. So those are the only things we recorded in person altogether, which is why we have that infamous photo of us.
Yes. Yes.
Shot.
The
Fan
photo we
photo.
couldn't get happy with.
How did you guys get in the zone? How did you guys
Yeah.
get in the zone for what was that the first thing that you wrote for the show? Like, all right, well, let's come out with the banger, like the title track for the show, or like what was some of the walk me through the process of how you geared up to get in this world of Top Model?
Well, there were like little ideas that were kind of sprinkled around, but I feel like, On Top was the one that was like, okay, we want to like go in on this one first.
I mean, I feel like that's personally that's how I always start a project. You have to kind of find what is the sound of the show, what is going to be usually the main thing. That's usually the hardest thing to get out, right? And I don't even remember how many months ago now it was. It was the directors, Daniel and Moore, who I had previously worked with on American Manhunt, Osama bin Laden, also on Netflix.
Also watched, also love.
Very
Number
different
one.
from Reality Check, but maybe also a little similar in ways.
It was reality, all right.
How so?
Things happened.
Things happen.
Tune in.
Yes.
Yeah. Both equally influential.
Yeah.
Both number one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it started off with just when I first learned about the project being like, yes, I want to be a part of this. I remembered the show. And so early conversations with them was about them wanting to really feel like, okay, we want like some really banging tracks that people would put on in the gym and start there and then kind of see where we go from there. And so immediately my thought was, okay, this can't sound like documentary style music. This needs to be
No.
cool. This needs to be a vibe going on. So, I mean, I had written a couple ideas and then I was like, right, all right, I need a band to do this. So that's when I brought in Benny and Empara on it. And I remember it was like some initial, it's called Idea One, real original, that I think I sent to you, Benny. I said, all right, we need to like make this different. What can we do?
Yeah.
Just gonna go mess with the stems, go see what we can do with this. And then you kicked some stuff back that was like, okay, this is starting to become something. We sent it to Empara, and you did all these crazy ideas on top of that. And then it kind of just started to slowly form from there. I mean, it was just a sort of a
Yeah.
jumble of ideas, and then kind of started piecing together, okay, maybe this is the chorus. Maybe this is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, this should be the A part. That, okay, this is cool. And
What was your impetus for involving Empara? Like, what strengths were you drawing from Empara that she brought to the table?
well, I just knew.
What did I bring to the table?
Yeah.
Well, we had
Why would
Everything.
you pick me?
Well, we have worked together before. I'm very good friends with her husband. And I guess
What
I'm good
about
friends
me?
with Empara.
Excuse me.
No, but she actually, was Our Planet 2 the first thing that
Oh yes.
we really did?
Yes, we have
Yeah.
done things.
She sprinkled some stuff on Our Planet 2 early on where, she kind of was just doing these little ideas, and that kind of, I don't know, stuck with me going, okay, wait, there's something way more there that we could do.
Yeah.
And this product came along, and it seemed like a perfect opportunity to write some lyrics,
I know
write
where
some
as well,
motifs.
because we did actually write a song for something else, which we didn't end up doing. So
Well,
That's
I was gonna
right.
say major
Oh yes, and
throwback.
Benny. Oh my
That's
god.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's how it
Seed
goes
was
back.
Throwback.
I don't remember.
Yeah. So you probably
Yes.
remember this. This is the first score that Josh and I collaborated on was he got hired to do Malika the Lion Queen.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was on
Yes.
Fox, right?
That was
I
on
remember,
Fox.
I was freaking out when that came out for Benny too, because that was like a big deal for you to like,
Yeah.
get into the scoring world,
Yeah,
prime
totally.
time stuff,
And
yeah,
it was Angela Bassett narrated.
I
yes.
love her.
Yes, and they were potentially looking for an end title song.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went down this path. Unfortunately, it never saw the light of day in the
Yeah.
end.
Unfortunately, things can go, which is maddening.
But it was, that was the first time we all three kind of collaborated on something.
Yeah.
And
5
so
years
we knew it
later.
could work.
Yeah.
So we thought.
I think we'd
so.
always joked about it. We were just like, okay, there has to be another time where we just randomly start writing pop songs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I didn't think it would happen.
I mean,
be
if there was
honest.
any occurrence for it, this
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
the one.
This was the space. Yeah. I mean, I know
Yeah.
you both live in that space way more than I ever have. That song was actually, yes, the first time I had sat in a room and watched a song, like write a song and how that gets put
Yeah,
together in
yeah.
that way. And I mean, I just loved that collaborative aspect of it. You're usually just
Yeah,
by
Josh,
yourself.
because you're a little bit more on the side of like instrumental scoring, right?
Yeah.
Then these two are obviously like have the pop writing studio sort of let's bang out a song in a day sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm actually curious your perspective, Empara, because like I feel there's not a lot of, and now Josh, I'm curious to hear your perspective on it too. There's not a big difference to me between scoring and songwriting. It's just you're working within different frameworks. Like
Yeah.
a song, you have much more open landscape as far as like, okay, what you could do anything. Whereas like when you're working to picture, it's like, okay, this is the story we're trying to tell. And so you're working with a much tighter frame. But as far as like, because I like scoring and songwriting both, I always come from the idea that music kind of generally writes itself. You just sort of follow where it's going. And whereas like a song, it's like you can feel, and everybody can feel it too when you're in a room writing together. It's like when the good idea happens, it's like, oh yeah, that was it.
That's the
and
one.
you can't like
Yeah.
really explain it. And I feel like similar with scoring, it's like when the right thing's happening, it's like, oh, this feels good. So I'm curious
Yeah.
what you guys think as far as like the similarities or differences in songwriting and scoring.
I actually feel like it's quite different. I think with songwriting in general, I think a lot in repetition and sort of thinking, very structurally. Whereas I feel like when we're writing to picture, it's very different for me. I feel like it's a lot more linear. And yeah, I mean, even the simple things of like having to change BPM to, throughout a song to try and hit a cut, or something very simple to like a normal film composer is actually quite difficult to wrap my head around, like when I'm first doing something. And that is something that I sort of learned watching my husband, Tom, because he does the same thing, and he'll be like, "Oh, you silly goose, you just do this." And I was like, "Oh my God, I've never actually
Shout
done
out,
that." I
Tom.
was like,
I
"What do you
can
mean
relate.
I changed from a 4/4 to a 5/4?" I was like, "Oh my God, just for one bar." I was like, "This is way too complicated for me." But it is like, I think there is a different level of skill, I would have to say. Obviously, working to picture, and what you guys do is I would say a little bit harder than just writing songs, but dare I say it, the hardest thing in the world to do is write a simple song. So
Amen.
there are, skills on both sides. But yeah, I love that Jasha was like, we need to write songs as well and not just have this as like a score thing. That has to be theme tunes. It can't just be, this person's theme, blah, blah, blah. We have to do songs. So I found that really fun. Yeah.
Well, this project was different too in just how we structured it, where there were so many tracks that were being written up front that were really kind of followed more of a song structure, was the idea, and knowing that then they would be cut in. And then from there, it kind of became their own life where, okay, great, this song can work, but now we need to kind of go do the score version of it, essentially, and have it evolve to hit the cuts we need and do picture. But it allowed to have that song quality still intact in there, which I was really excited about trying to implement for this. So it really felt like, okay, these are some fun bangers or beats that are happening that we have now just made to come across as a score, as opposed to here's just a needle drop of a song. Yeah. And so things like the Mother song, which ended up representing Tyra across the series, we could take the song itself, deconstruct it, and put in little elements of it anytime we wanted to that acted as score, but very much were rooted in an actual song itself that was written. So,
Tyra and her organs.
yeah, Tyra.
How did you guys come about? Like, did you watch some Tyra clips for that inspiration for that song?
Well, this was weird. So I remember having this conversation with Chloe. What was that?
I said we already knew the show, so we sort of knew, like, culturally, like, the lyrics we were going to use. Like, we use, the iconic sort of phrases, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I think right off the bat, it's established how she's kind of represents this mother figure for these models, and that's what she was meant to be. And so we kind of wanted to run with that idea. And I remember I was sitting there doing chords on my own. Chloe, Empara, you were doing a similar idea that we ended up realizing that they actually kind of worked together in some capacity. And it was coming from this space of, how do we do this heavenly, like, godly type, bigger than herself type thing, and which is why we kind of leaned into these like organ idea. And
oh, this is Mother, right?
This is Mother, yeah.
Yes, because I originally did all the mothers over a different thing I was writing, right? And then you were like, no, I'm going to take that back for this, and then that went over the top. It just happened to work. Well, obviously, you probably made it work. But I remember, because we were just doing some random... Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, the Mothers was definitely for something else. And then...
Yes. It was just literally a choir shouting Mother. She just tracked herself saying Mother over and over. And we're like, wait a minute, this might be the thing. And so then we kind of went from there, found a structure. We didn't have any lyrics. It was the day that we sat in this studio that we really figured out any sort of A-B part lyrically of what was happening.
Yeah.
We had the general thing to follow of what we wanted to do. My goodness, writing lyrics is hard. You don't have to worry about that when you're just scoring a picture usually. You're not worrying about lyrics.
Yeah.
And, if there's anything just coming from the other side of it, I've just noticed, you'll sit there and know a song and you'll kind of hum it in your head and you think you know the words, and then you usually don't, and you're singing the words wrong sometimes. And then you go back and you really listen to the words. There is so much cheese to it. Like, like it is all about this like
100%.
perfect level of cheese though, where you're saying these clever things without being too clever and without being too simplified about it. And,
Yes.
you know, and find a way to do that.
It's a tight line to walk.
Yeah. So that was an interesting process to kind of sit here and we're just spitting out lines that might work, might not work with it.
Do you guys have a final edit, or do things change or swap around like in this process? Like when you get a certain episode that you're working on, is that subject to change, or by the time it comes to you, are you?
Always.
Yeah.
Until
Many
they
times.
until they are in that mix room, dub room, and doing the final mix, it is going to keep changing. And even after that, there might still be last minute tweaks that go on. But that's part of being a composer for
part of
film and
it.
TV. Like you're just going to expect that. Oh, great, they removed 10 frames here. Like, you know, it's always usually for the better. It's always the edit's always like kind of
Tighter.
just tighten it up, and everything kind of flows a lot better. But you always have to be adaptable with that, which is why tempo changes are insane.
Yeah.
Usually.
Bar of 1916.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah. I actually do think about this because back when, pre our time, you know, you got the film and that was it.
Yeah.
Generally. Now, obviously, it's the complete opposite. Even music is like that, though. I mean, in a different way. People, because you can re-upload new versions of your songs to like Spotify. Like if you're like, it's out, but you end up wanting to
Change
retouch this mix or retouch this master, you can go in and redo it. So everything is like this like weird, like constantly living.
Does it stay the same
thing.
ISRC? Like,
I think so, yeah.
It's under the
because
same-
the streams don't start over,
Okay.
things like that.
wow.
Whereas like I'm not super into that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like,
No, when it is out, it is done.
it's done.
You
Yeah.
can sit there and look at it and go, oh, I would have done that. You don't save it for the next time. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
kind of this sense of like, it's out there, it's done. You move on to the next.
Yeah.
How do you guys approach a narrative versus unscripted?
A narrative versus an unscripted. Well, I find unscripted are difficult in terms of going back to the editing process. It can constantly change because there is no necessarily through storyline that, you know, it's shot for picture a lot of times. So things can move around a lot. Things can evolve in that way. But there's also just usually a lot of narration that's happening, whether it's talking heads that you're constantly are battling with and going, all right, where does the music fit in amongst this? Because you can't compete always with what they're saying. You know, you need to kind of find balance between when are you having this musical moment and when are you simply being a supporting sound underneath what's happening. So, I mean, for this show, there was so much archive footage that was being put. We're constantly going back to the show itself. And so I think that really leaned into this idea of how do we make a sound that takes us to the interviews that are happening in front of you, but also giving you that kind of nostalgic vibe of that might be music from the show itself that's going on.
Yeah.
So that this one was a challenge in that way, just trying to do that.
And that genre of music on the show, were there any sonic influences that you pulled from? Because we are going back in time just a little bit. Early 2000s. When did Top Model start airing though?
Wasn't it 2002?
2002. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just fresh off the 90s. Reality TV is like in full swing. What sort of patches were you using? Did you refer to? Did you have sort of like things that you were pulling from decades ago? Or
Benny, you and I had conversations about this because I was just like, what synths should we use? Like, how do we get that sound of like
Shout out
that era?
Arturia suite. Yeah, I mean, a lot of just
I just used any source synth.
yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong, truly. So yeah, I mean, really, what we use sort of some digital versions, but like analog keyboards, like because I mean, most of my favorite songs, like Max Martin, for example, like he is pretty much playing on a bunch of keyboards and recording those. Like it's like sure there's some plugins and things and plugins particularly for scoring are for the sake of what we were just saying are much more convenient because like if the camera can't see but I've got a bunch of keyboards like here like once you record any of this like that's it. Like that's what you got. And so whenever you get a new edit that's longer here, and so we need to add chord, blah, blah, blah. It's like hardware makes it much more difficult. So we have some plugin like the Geek Out, the Arturia plugins. They've got digital versions of all of these keyboards that sound great. And so we used a lot of that. I mean, it was like not a lot of like super new crazy synthesizers. Like a lot of it really goes back to like classic Juno 106 Moog stuff like Empara was saying, Sawtooth, like you like a Juno Sawtooth doesn't get much better. So yeah, a lot of like, and you could make the point too, like real instruments even as synthesizers, these are real actual instruments, which over the years, I mean, you and I come from, I mean, I actually need to know your background a little bit more, Empara, but like, Jasha's a piano player, like, we all come from real things. And so I definitely, as the years go on, I'm much more keen to just go to that.
Analog.
Yeah, just like some real stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the opening song I feel like is probably the most.
Techno.
This is the UK. This is the London in you.
Yeah.
No, I don't really. It was that one track that you were like, I want you to do this scene. And it was it the crazy photo shoot
The
one?
crazy photo shoots. That was a difficult scene to get done.
Yeah.
That was
took some back and
hardcore
forth.
techno.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you were like, I need more from you. And I was like, I'm giving you everything I have. And then you were like, they want more. And I was like, oh my God. And it was like, it was absolutely.
I mean, I was rooting for you.
That was the most challenging.
Yeah, it's some straight up Berlin 5 a.m. techno.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a lot of music that needed to get done. I mean, unlike other documentaries that I've worked on, this one had so much music in it. Empara, I think you had a count. How many tracks was there?
121.
121 pieces of music.
Yeah.
And because there was so many moments to create this, kind of, I don't know what the TikTok trends of it all.
Suspense?
Kind of just these constant quick, you might get 20 seconds of this song and then move on to the next thing. So, we might have a full-fledged 2.5-minute version of it, but in the end, we only used 30 seconds of it but you kind of had to do the whole piece to kind of get it sounding the way it ultimately ended up being.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many genres that we hit. Yes, that photo shoot one was, I think that was a perfect example, though, where because this documentary has been polarizing, has been very talked about in all the things that went on in the show, there was this element of excitement, fun, and then obviously there's the flip side of now viewing the show in this light. And musically, it's kind of like there was many times when we kind of just needed to play up the fun and camp of what was on the screen to kind of put the audience back to how we viewed those scenes in order for then the kind of interviews and honestly the conversation afterwards to land the way I think it has been. I think what this documentary does really well, and what I think Daniel and Moore have done with this, was they presented the show as it was with people looking back on it, and then it kind of gives all the audience the rest of the time to fill in answers to things, kind of look at yourself and how you viewed the show. And so it really almost just serves as this talking point to start off with from there, and kind of present you with just all this, footage that we've all seen, but seen in a different way now. And from there, what do you do with it? That's,
Yeah, exactly.
I think all the online chatter has been. So I think musically.
We talked about it at the time, I remember, that, how great the editing was, because it really played against the two. And that was like, I can't remember the end, if it's at the end of the first or the second episode. Oh no, sorry, it's right at the end where they have that moment with Tyra and it's very reflective or whatever. And then it suddenly cuts back and they're like, don't be, I can't remember what the phrase was, but it was like, yeah, girl, blah, blah, blah.
You gotta be fucking kidding
me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was such a reflection of what the music did as well. So it was like, having those sort of two play off each other.
Are you talking
is
about
what
the
we definitely
scene?
did.
Because I just rewatched last night a little bit of it. The scene where the girl was struggling and Tyra was like, she had said that Tyra reached out to her, like noticed her struggling and didn't do anything. And it was like,
I think it's the same girl.
It's the same girl, yes. And she
yeah.
goes, bull fucking shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I will say you guys did a really good job with just all of the emotional, aspect of like each of those episodes that had those, those moments of we were rooting for you, and that one that I just named was like, some ones that really stick out to me that were like really like, oh fuck.
It's hard. I mean, going back to your question about narrative versus unscripted, I think that's for me personally the hardest thing with some of these shows, and it was a big struggle on the American Manhunt one as well with Daniel Moore, that like you're looking at people's real lives here, right? And so it's very interesting to sit there and write music to a very traumatic, difficult moment for a lot of these models.
Yeah.
And then seeing the aftermath now that the show's out and hearing the models talk about it and, and to kind of continue to talk about it. And, you're kind of sitting there having to walk this very fine line of helping support the emotion that they're showing you on that screen in that moment, while also not trivializing it, not sensationalizing it, not making it the movie version of it, because this is their real life and this is their real story. So I think that's what made this show so kind of chaotic in terms of going from that insane photo shoot and this techno music to this really intimate, quiet moment where someone is kind of, letting everything out and saying something that is very hard. So it's...
leaving space as well for people to tell their stories where everything else is very cutty. And then, I felt like in the second episode, it was almost more relaxing music-wise, for people to be able to tell their stories, I found. And yeah,
no, for sure. That episode really allowed kind of more space for the models to say their truths about their experiences.
Most fun day in the studio.
Well, definitely the day we were all
the
together.
only day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the singular day.
I had fun by myself, of course.
Yeah. No, it was all fun.
Loads of fun.
But
I was
the day we were
I
together-
laughed the whole way through doing some of the things. But
As it should be.
Yeah, we did
As
have
it should
fun
be.
in the studio as well.
Yes.
Benny, did you get to bang on the drums enough, or was it all digital?
I almost said an inappropriate joke, but I stopped myself. I mostly did a lot of it were like dance samples and
So you
things,
had
but
this,
actually,
Nigel.
I was about to say like that is one of my favorite things about this project.
Yeah.
Was like it just went so wide stylistically, like what we were doing, and so we needed like a sexy like British man vibe, and so I like channeled my
I was
D'Angelo.
very into Nigel at a young age. Yeah. Watching Top Model.
This show was a gay awakening for so many people.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't watch every
Yeah, for
season,
me.
but I tuned in.
Yeah.
I was watching. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, that was a perfect example where that track, I remember the directors, what was it? It was a lost, what was it? It was like a lost trailer. The show
it was
Lost.
a lot, like
Yeah.
that
And it
TV
was like an
show
old
Lost.
trailer, and who shot it? I'm trying to remember the name. But they remembered this music track in there, and they said something maybe like this, and that's where we went down that path based off of that. It was like a very obscure reference.
Yeah, it
but
was
it kind of worked
also,
out
like-
perfectly.
Because like we wanted something sexy, and like whereas like the Lost one, it was like kind of weird. Like it wasn't like when I heard that I was like, oh, this is hot. Like it was like it was like almost like Portishead trip hoppy kind of, and so it was like we like can definitely see where the idea is coming from.
It was being sexy without being so obviously sexy. I think is
yeah.
what was the vibe, which I think ended up working really well in the end because
Totally.
what came out of it, Chloe, you did some breathy.
Super cool, like
vocally
R&B
things on it.
vocals over it.
Did I?
And so I'd like on the drums, I got like my like swaggy Questlove.
I was like, we need a womp, 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 womp.
Yeah, a little wompy womp womp. So yes, everybody should go listen to the soundtrack straight up.
I think they
And-
should be
well,
blasting
They
it in
should.
WeHo through all the speakers. Like,
Yeah.
Honestly.
It might be coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. First watch the series, and then go
And work out to our music.
listen to the soundtrack.
You're on Apple Music. so,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
Bring it to your local club.
Yes.
Yeah, request the DJ.
Go up to the DJ booth and stand there until they put it on.
I do need to give a shout out
Like
to
all DJs love it when you do that.
I do need to give a shout out to my husband, Evan, who in the On Top song, at one point, I would always bring him in. I'm like, okay, you have to listen to our latest club hit.
Yeah.
And then it was his idea where he's like, at some point you need to drop the I Was Rooting For You, the infamous I Was Rooting For You in that song somehow. And so it became this
Obviously.
moment when
clutch
we
call.
we have this drop and we sampled her pre-approved and I remember we just had to pitch it, time it, do whatever, and it became a moment. And
No,
so
that was essential to
yes.
happen.
I mean that is obviously my favorite part, and obviously everyone
Everybody's favorite part.
knows everything.
It's
So
going to be.
that
That
made it
clipped a
more
lot.
special because I knew that he was on the same wavelength
Yeah.
as us.
So my husband's a producer now, and he's very proud of that.
He is.
He's
We're
very
so happy.
special.
Shout out Evan.
I'm always rooting for Evan, and he's rooting for us. So that's beautiful.
Yes. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
Well, I think we did it across the pond, even through all of the our reception issues today. Thank you so much for chatting with us. Does anybody want to add anything else? What are we working on next?
They'll find out soon enough.
Okay, we'll leave it.
Brennan has more music coming. Shout
I
out
do.
to Brennan for.
I just
being-
bought a new piano that's being delivered tomorrow, and I'm really excited for this year. So
This is a big year.
Yeah.
2025.
I just finished a new album, which I
Yes.
just wrote this month.
I
Yes.
can't wait to be your friend because you're lovely, and I can't wait to meet you
Huh?
in person. I said I can't wait to be your friend and meet you in person.
Me too. Oh my god, yes.
Wait.
Okay, I'm coming tomorrow. I'm coming
Great.
to LA.
Wait,
Yes.
Empara, is this a new album or your newest album that you just dropped?
What is this? I can't hear you.
You said you just wrote a new album. Is this your newest album that's out now that you just dropped, or did you just write another
No,
album?
I just wrote another album.
Wow.
Wow. And when was I mean, you went years between the previous album and this one.
I know. I literally
And now she did one in a
swear to
month.
God, this is your fault in a good way. Because you've made me disciplined in writing so many things.
Yep.
I just went, oh my God, why did the first one take me 5 years? I could have done this whole time.
Yes.
So I literally sat there and I did a million different ideas for this new album. I was like, oh my God, love that, love that, love that, hate that, love that, love that. And then
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, that's it.
Sometimes you just have to commit and put shit down because
That's where it
then
all comes
you
Because I
do
was
it.
like, I actually have to work hard at being disciplined. And that's what
Yes.
being a composer is. Discipline.
Yeah.
Right now, I've
Sitting
just
down
been-
and doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
that's exactly the thing. I've just been sitting at the piano for like 5 or 6 hours a day, and I've just been practicing classical piano. But the fact of just getting up and doing something
Oh my
is
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
more than half the battle.
Yeah. The act of just
Yeah.
literally getting up and doing it.
Yeah,
Things will
Yes.
happen. Like
Yeah.
things will come out as a result of it. But yeah, the act of just like sitting down and be
Yeah.
like, okay, what are we doing? Prolific era. Let's go.
this is
Yeah.
it. This is it. Well, thank you guys so much for a very special edition of the Ben and
Thank
Bren
you.
Show.
Thanks everybody for listening,
Thanks.
and let us know your favorite songs from the soundtrack, and tell all your friends, and keep making it number one on
Yeah. Tell
Netflix.
your friends.
Have a great day.
Peace out.
Yeah.
Ben and Brent Show.
Exactly.
Love you.
Stuff you know and stuff you don't. It's the Ben and Bren Show.